Oh, it's working. um, Hi, so I'm live. It took me a while to get in this time as well. Uh, let's see. I'll just write a message for anyone who shows up in the chat. So, if you have not watched me before, I'm Emma, and I do have a channel here on YouTube called Light Over the Bridge. But this thing with sending live is a bit new to me, so I'm still not really friends with the technology, but um, I did get in eventually. And the live was actually scheduled for like 9-ish p.m. Central European time. So um, yeah, I got in on time. It's Sunday night here in Europe and Sweden, and I thought that a suitable topic for this live would be the topic of struggling with loneliness while briefly healing after being in a toxic or abusive or narcissistic relationship. Because I think that it's something that a lot of survivors are experiencing. Um, Me as well. Now, since I started to work again, it's better, but there was a time where I really felt lonely, and um, it was um, part of the struggle of choosing to break free from leaving my abusive husband and then choosing to break with several toxic family members and some friends as well. And I know that my story is not unique to me, the being lonely and leaving some previous friends, family members, or partners behind after discovering that you try to be a friend or a sister or um, a wife or some other kind of role in their life and love them and gave them a lot, but um, it was not reciprocal, or the relationship was damaging to you in different ways. Um, and often it is one relationship that makes us wake up to the fact that the existence of toxic people out there. For me, it was the relationship with my ex-husband um, that made me start on the search for to find out what the problem was. Like initially, I thought it was just a marital crisis or a midlife crisis, but pretty quickly came to the realization that it was something deeper, psychologically wrong. And then I tried to work with, I still try to save the relationship, and I didn't realize how deep that toxicity went. So for several years, I educated myself on everything I could get my hands on when it came to, um, well, narcissistic personality disorder. What was what I looked into the most, but I read about anything related, and um, there's a lot written on the topic, and now it is um, a topic that is getting a lot of attention. Um, but as I educated myself on this, I learned to recognize it in other people, in my surroundings. And when I came to the decision that this is not what I want, I don't want this toxicity and destructiveness to be part of my life or my future or that of my kids' future or life. So um, I took the decision to break with toxicity, to be a cycle breaker, and to create something new and something healthy and peaceful home and a space around me where for myself and where my kids could grow up. Sorry, I will just take a cup of tea. I don't think that uh, it might take a while before someone joins. Let me take a cup of tea. So I know that um, in my channel I have viewers from all over the globe now, and I wrote a community post yesterday, and I asked uh, for people to share what time zone they're in and if there is any day that would suit them specifically. Because my plan is to continue to do these live streams, and um, it's more fun if there is more people here. So if you watch this in replay, then know that I read the comments um, afterwards as well, and try to answer to everyone. And yeah, I would really like you to join me in real time some days. So write which time zone you're in and like when you're usually available. I'm a bit restricted by uh, like the hours where my kids are awake. So now they are asleep. Um, it's a school night, so there is school tomorrow, Monday morning, and so I have a while for myself, and thought I would share it with you if there is someone out there also feeling lonely. So if you have lived through this toxicity or abuse, perhaps you have taken this decision for yourself to break with these people and what is called to go no contact, where you simply um, don't communicate with them. Um, Often, um, what happens after that is going through a period of, well, firstly, withdrawing inward, um, not feeling very social at all, and not really feeling like you're up for socializing or connecting with new people, low on energy. Um, and also because even though the problem we have discovered is that um, people in our proximity have been toxic. I know that many of us even um, grew up with this um, from a parent, and that makes it even easier to get into one of these long-term relationships as an adult for various reasons. It's not only that it feels familiar, but that's not the topic for this live stream. So if you want to hear more about it, I do have some. I might talk about it um, some other time. But being very like not having, or how should I explain it? When you have learned from a young age to give a lot, and you don't question people, you question yourself when something goes wrong. You don't demand, instead, you try to do better yourself. And that makes it easier for you to attract and keep these toxic people because you don't notice how dysfunctional they are. They fit into the way that you usually act. And when you have, so you have all these relationships around you that are either toxic, or it is people who are in contact with toxic people. So when you step away, you might not want to communicate with them because they could put pressure on you, or you're not sure if they would understand. And um, it feels easier when you're not sure how to proceed to just stop communicating and focus inward for a while, heal, and recalibrate. So looking at what have I done, like how do I want my relationships to be in the future, what damage has been done to me by interacting with these people who have taken advantage of me and abused me. Um, and it can be on often is on several different levels. So um, emotional pain, different areas of our psyche has been like pushed down or twisted a bit to fit, to not cause any conflict with the main toxic person. And this is a lonely and difficult time. Sometimes you are lucky to have a person who have gone through this themselves and can guide you. If you have the opportunity of having the finances for it, you could get in contact with some sort of therapist or trauma educated person who can be there and support you. But for many survivors, that's not an option. After leaving an abusive marriage, it's very common that the finances are a difficulty. So, um, paying for a therapist may not be an option. So, your old friends and family members and acquaintances, um, you're not no longer in contact with them. Um, you don't have someone to guide you through this lonely period of recalibrating and getting in contact with new people. That requires you to, first of all, be a bit more stable in yourself. So you may not be at all ready for new connections. It requires to have the energy and um, like after leaving, you may just be on survival basis, just trying to get through the day and um, trying to get like everyday life to function and to get the routines in place. You may have moved, you may have changed work, town. Um, there may be like a process of dividing the assets or being like left without any assets because the toxic partner is obstructing you. And on top of that, you often have to deal with them lying, smearing you. And um, in that process, you might lose some real friends who uh, can't, like, it's difficult for you when you are telling the truth. Um, for someone who doesn't understand toxicity or abuse to believe you, and often the toxic person is like it's not a fair fight. They are hitting you under the belt, and they might like rally people to uh, who are also a bit half toxic or toxic to speak badly about you, and they might even have hinted about certain things like during the relationship. Um, And you may not have the energy or interest to to fight that, and that's also like the recommended thing to do in most cases, to not respond and just let that smear campaign die out. Um, but it leaves you lonely, and like for some days, I was so lonely that I missed the toxic people that at least like at least have someone and not be alone. Um, like humans are not meant, we are not meant to be completely by ourselves. And um, after having moved to a town where I didn't know anyone, and um, in the beginning, after the second move, I've moved a few times. So, and on my channel, you can find a whole story. But um, after the second, Lord, no, well, it's not the third move, that is, because the first move was actually in the same town. But the third move, I moved to a place where I didn't know anyone, and I was actually I had to leave work, and I, like, after having gained some energy, going through that move and all the stress and fear actually that was involved in that, because I was being stalked, left me exhausted. So I didn't have the energy to work, and um, so I was lonely for several months. And also during that period was when my PTSD symptoms were at its worst. Um, and I actually like found myself missing some of my toxic family members. Um, so the thing about the toxic relationships, they can feel quite good during different periods. So especially if you have something that they want, um, if you would reconnect with them, it would be quite nice for a while. Um, like when you go back to the toxic person, no matter who it is, it's usually quite nice for a while. It's what's called as the honeymoon period. Um, so I knew that if I connected with any one of them, I would have a nice time for a while, and it felt a bit. I was a bit tempted um, when I was feeling really lonely and also dealing with this anxiety nightmares. Like during a period, it was so bad that I would dread to go to sleep because I would have horrible nightmares, and also the sleep paralysis during that period, if you have heard about it. Um, but being lonely as a survivor of abuse, it's something that I've heard over and over again in different survivor forums. Forums, yeah, that's what it's called. Um, and there will be a time after you heal when you start to connect with people. Um, and often, depending on like when in the process you start to venture out in the world and connect, how far you've come, you might be struggling with triggers. So if you get to know someone and you start to like that person, and I'm not talking about a romantic interest, like a friend, for example. Yes, wait a minute. I have to, like, I will put my legs up a bit. It's better to get comfortable. know how long I will talk with you, depending on if someone sees the live chat and joins. Um, so I have this colleague now that I really like, and she's also a medical doctor. So we're working together, and she has invited me and my kids to come over to her, and um, yes, I'm really starting to value her friendship because even though we're colleagues, we're starting to build a kind of a friendship. And well, we have a stressful work, and sometimes she is a bit stressed out or irritated. And when she is a bit cold or she's stressed, then I get this fear that, oh no, I have done something and like she won't like me anymore. And it really pains me, even though I know that this is an old, like it's an old um, trauma pattern because it happened over and over in my marriage and as a child as well. That, um, well, my mother or husband or sister, um, they would turn cold and I would have done something and then they wouldn't talk to me. Um, and for years, I believed that I had actually done something to upset them. So I would like, be angry with myself. Why couldn't I just have not said that and things would have been fine? Why did I have to bring that up? Now I ruined the mood. And that's what they told me as well. So after years of tiptoeing, walking on eggshells, it's called, um, trying to remember all the things that I shouldn't do because they will get angry. I even like once um, I even started the list. So I had a folder in the kitchen cabinet, and then I put in these blank sheets of paper, and I started to write. Like anytime my husband would criticize me or get angry, I would write down like what it was that irritated him. So, and in the end, it was like, and I didn't tell him that I was doing this. I just thought that, well, if I write it down, because obviously I can't seem to get it right, like I always forget it. But if I write it down and then I can look through the list, then I will like have it on paper what he doesn't want me to do. So I will not do it and things will be fine. In the end, like this list was, I will tell you like a few things from what I remember because they were so stupid. Okay, never go outside of the door with the robe on. That's fun. Point. Uh, you shouldn't put like when you do the cinnamon buns. We have this um, like in Sweden. It's one of our popular. Uh, what is it called? It's not a biscuit, and like it's a bun. It's a bun. It's a sweet bread with cinnamon inside it, and it's a roll. And then you can put different things on, like the sliced almond, or well, the most common thing to put on, like the classical recipe, is pearl sugar, like it's sugar pearls on the cinnamon bun. And then he didn't like that, so I wrote never put, like he told me, never put pearl sugar on the cinnamon buns. So I would write it in my folder, never put pearl sugar on the cinnamon buns. And what was it? What else? Oh, I can't remember. I already remember those. stupid things, but I had a long, like it became a long, long, long list. And like, um, and he would sometimes say things that contradicted one of the points. So I just stopped that. I remember, like, because he accused me of never listening to him and always forgetting and being clumsy and not doing things right. And then I even brought out his folder. So, well, I'm trying my best. I even wrote it here. See, I wrote it. Never put pearl sugar on the cinnamon buns. And he was really happy. He was really happy that I wrote it down. Um, but yes, a lot long, like many years of my life were spent trying to avoid conflict. I used to be very uncomfortable and fearful when someone would raise their voice or get angry. I would shrink back and try to avoid the conflict. So um, it's no wonder that when I have a friend that I like, after going through so many years of um, people I loved suddenly turn on me, I would be scared that she would do the same. Um, and having that with you, like bringing those experiences with you, makes it hard for you to trust new friendships. And then, of course, it is like having gone through abuse and those kinds of experiences, perhaps having, like I have, um, chosen to or chosen to, well, I'm not in contact with my ex-husband, and it wasn't my choice, it was his choice, because he stalked me and threatened me, and eventually the police told me that you are in great danger. So it was his choice. But just telling people, or and that's also hard because I have this protected identity, so I'm not supposed to tell my story to um, people in my community. They're not supposed to know about um, the story. It could be a security risk, as the police says. So I have to be a bit vague about why did I move here, and um, like share about what happened with my ex-husband to a lot of people. But of course, there are a few people that I do share with, um, and when I do, um, they can't relate to that. Like it's hard to find a person, because when you connect with someone, you both you do want the authentic connection. So you're both like not talking about the weather, you're talking about something that interests you, or like you listen to each other, um, and you feel that you can open up and share something, and um, they respect that and listen to you, and they share something back. So you both want the and the intimacy, the authenticity, and then also that they don't judge you and that they still like you, even if you shared something vulnerable. Um, and if you're going through a struggle, like if you have left an abusive relationship and you are in the process of actually trying to rebuild your life, moving away from perhaps moving away from family and breaking with certain people who are toxic, um, then a large part of your life and focus is being involved in this. It's a struggle, it's a battle. And also trying to work through some trauma, perhaps. Um, and then you want to find someone to share, like to to connect with. Um, and it's hard to find those people. And of course, there are a lot of people who have dealt with abuse, but you also want to find the ones who have seen it for what it is. So there are people who have gone through abusive relationships or grown up in abusive circumstances that have not um, really seen it for what it is, and they have not chosen to make the changes that you um, are choosing to do. Mm, so that's also like one of the blockages um, that can prevent you from finding connection that um, that suits that loneliness that many survivors feel. Um, so let's see. To summarize, there are both the like internal blockages. You might not have the energy to connect and find new connections. You might not yet have done enough healing where you feel that you're able to um, judge who is toxic or who seems to be healthy and move forward slowly and evaluate. So you have to also get away from that black or white thinking. Like um, before all of this happened, I used to uh, have. I also used to have like an in group or an out group. So when I found a new friend uh, and I had decided that they were okay, then I would go all in. Like I would open up completely and let them in, and I would not like after that I would not evaluate. So even if they did weird or toxic things, in my mind they were safe. Um, so that's not a good way to think about relationships. But when you're healing, you want to be able to evaluate, but you want to move forward slowly. So when you find oh, hi Nili. uh, yes, well, you're welcome here. I just um, lives are a new thing for me. I usually do the normal videos, so you're welcome. Yes, it is scary to connect because when you open up and try to connect, and especially when you oh, you can I think you can rewind afterwards if you want to see the beginning. Um, and I also like yeah, I will continue with the live streams. I think it will be. Um, I'm hoping that I will be able to do them at least once a week. So, but I'm still a bit struggling a bit with the technologies and uh, yes. Um, so the fear of connection. It's easier if you like depending on how your life is structured. If you go out and have a lot of connections, like in your work, or if you have some sort of, like if you're engaging in some sort of group or activity on your free time, it's easier to just train the connecting and train, like get a bit more comfortable with talking to people and saying hi and but it's um, I think it's something that you have to. get used to. And like everything that you are, like it's so much in life that's a skill that you can practice. So I actually used to be very shy, um, like in school. I think up until I was like it took a long time until adulthood. I would be very shy. I would not talk with anyone. Like I would have a few friends. Um, there's let's see. There's someone on my Snapchat. I met her recently at the store. She told me to write, and I haven't. I keep waiting for a day where I feel good, but maybe I should just go ahead tomorrow. Yes. So that's nice. Like someone invited you to talk with or to write to her on Snapchat, and but you feel hesitant because you're waiting for a day to have where you feel good or where you have some energy or where you feel like connecting. Yes, I hear you. Um, Sometimes I don't know where you are in your journey, uh, but I think that when we are healing and we are trying, like we have a goal, let's say I want some connection, and I'm feeling lonely, then it's a good thing to take some small steps, like um, yeah, write to that person. Um, it's a good step just to write. You don't need to like have a long conversation. You can excuse yourself if um, I don't have Snapchat, but I think that you write like back and forth like a text thing. Um, but I used to be very shy, and like even so, for those of you who don't know me, I'm a medical doctor by profession. But even in the beginning of med school, like when we would go, um, oh, um, yeah. So there are like usually there are a lot of opportunities for us to connect with people, and um, like you don't have to take it so seriously. Like the more you get used to just saying hi, like people appreciate it usually. Like, well, depending on where you live, when I live closer to our capital, Stockholm, people would be a bit like they wouldn't smile as much. And when I like waved and say hi in the morning at the kids' school, they would like look at me a bit weird. But that's like, depending on the culture where you're living, and it can vary between different towns how much people like socialize with strangers. But I mean, oh, you live in Uppsala. That's why. That's why you're shy. um, yeah, it's different in different areas of Sweden as well. I used to live in Gothenburg, like on the west coast, and people are more open there. But yeah, um, well, it's a skill. So, as I said, for years I was very introverted, and it would take energy for me to socialize. Like, I would feel drained if I would have to, uh, yeah, put in a lot of energy to be able to really socialize, and then I would withdraw because um, it took too much energy. So I would feel comfortable to socialize with my close, like my friends. Um, but it's a habit. Like if you say hey to people at work and like every day decide that you will just talk to someone. So where I work now, I'll just like go into when I come to work, I go and say hey to the people in the reception and good morning, and then I go to the lab and I like talk to the nurses. say good morning. Did you have a great weekend? Like just a small chat or small talk. um, and when you like get used to that, being a bit more open, and I think the key is to get a bit out of your own head, to be like, and to be interested in like the people who are around you. People usually get very happy when you're interested in them, like if you just ask them something. So, uh, and it can be anything. Like you can become good at small talk. So, um, oh, now it's fall. Do you like fall? um, and they just share. Oh, I think it's so beautiful when the leaves change color. And I used to live in Gothenburg, and then the nature is a bit different from here, and it's more windy and raining. So, uh, but um, yeah, well, the point was just that the more you get used to just having some acquaintances. So, if you want to get more friends, you should first get more acquaintances. And then, like from that pool or of people, you can see who you connect with a bit. And then, like, people will start to think about you and perhaps invite you to something. And um, but of course that takes energy, so um, that's depending on where you are. As I was healing, like after I left my ex-husband, and it was a long time where I did not feel like socializing with, like, even with the neighbors. I would like go out to the mailbox. I'll usually let me get my mail and go inside. So that went on for months. And that's like weird because you can go through that withdrawn period and still feel very lonely. So I had no energy to connect with anyone, and I still felt very lonely. Um, so Neely, what I said in the beginning was just that um, it's such a like when you wake up to the fact that you have been abused or in a narcissistic or toxic relationship, um, then the experience of many survivors are that, oh, it's not only my partner or my parent. When they read up and educate themselves, they realize that it's also like these people around me, and for some it's also like been there in their childhood. Um, and then it comes a point where you choose, well, I don't want this for myself. I don't want this to be part of my life and my future. And if you have kids like I do, I don't want my kids to grow up and be affected by these toxic and manipulative and abusive behaviors. Um, and if you then choose to walk away and go no contact with uh, the toxic people that you have like discovered, um, often that involves like moving, getting a new job, um, perhaps changing town, or just changing your routines. And it creates a vacuum, especially if you were like me, like having quite a small, like a friend group and then the partner and perhaps the family. Um, then if you choose to move away from the toxic people, even though you know that you are moving forward to something better, it's like it will be a vacuum there where you don't have anything better. You don't have friends to connect with. You don't have a partner, and you're perhaps struggling mentally with healing, with anxiety, or with post traumatic like the complex post-traumatic stress symptoms, the nightmares, and the extreme anxiety, or triggers, like something will trigger you and you will get an anxiety reaction. Um, so then you're dealing with these symptoms that make an exhaustion. All of this makes it hard for you to connect with new people. Um, and at the same time, that loneliness, um, like for me, it even was like a few months, as I said, when I was in that like hiding and running to the mailbox stage. I felt that um, I was missing like the toxic people, the toxic family members that I left, because even though that care or like those interactions were fake and it was false, um, at least like even though I knew that, um, it felt better than nothing. So like I miss having someone to share. Um, if I watch something funny, you want to share it with someone, like another adult. um, and so it's hard to keep pushing along on that journey to towards healing when you're also lonely, because that's painful in itself. Because humans are we're built to connect, and like we're built to live in smaller communities, um, like working together. We're not built to be alone, and it's very painful for us to be alone. I think it's like an evolutionary thing that uh, who like when humans first inhabited the earth, we moved in small groups. I think it was like 20, 30 people working together. And like, so the group has always been very essential for our survival. Like, you would not be able to survive on your own. So, being excluded from the group was a horrific punishment and often meant death. So, it's no wonder that we're scared of being alone. Um, like, if you have, like, I have some animals, so I have two cats. And like, they don't, especially like, yeah, well, they are like, what is that called? Like, they are a special breed of cats, so they're called Siberian cats. They have these huge furs, and they're very cute, and they're good for uh, like, they don't trigger allergy as much as other breeds. So that's why I got them. But they're also very social, so they will come and they will have a pet. They want me to pet them. But cats are not that bothered. Like, if they are alone, they just lay there and they're quite chilled. So the cat, uh, like the cat animals, the lions, the tigers. Yeah, some of them move in groups as well, but they don't have a problem with being a loner. They will survive. But a dog, like, if you leave it alone, it will howl and it will wait for you. And because dogs, they are like, they move in groups, so there is like, um, I don't know what that expression comes from. Lone wolf. Isn't that like a crazy wolf who has been left by his tribe? Like, normally they move in the tribe, the little groups, so they don't like to be alone, and humans don't like to be alone. It's painful for us, and like, you can be surrounded by people and be feel alone as well. Um, but at least normally you don't get that lonely feeling while you are among people. Like, you get a bit distracted. Um, but for me at least, it's more the quality of the interaction. So if you are in a group of people and they are only talking about like shallow stuff and there is no real interaction, then it doesn't give you as much as if you would sit down with like a person who really cares for you and who listens to you and who give you a cup of tea. Um, it's like a different quality of interaction. But I think we need uh, like both. If we don't have the acquaintances and if we only have one friend, then um, especially if we have these old triggers, like I still have, like if the friend withdraws a bit because they are busy or sick or they have something to do, um, then my mind instantly goes to, oh, did I do something wrong? Um, because that's what happened to me for so many years in the narcissistic relationship. So I was for 21 years with a narcissistic man, um, and we married. So yeah, it will be like it's all in a month and 2 days. It will be or one day. Yeah, it will be 2 years since we separated. But before that, um, toxic relationships were a part of my life for 36 years. So I grew up with a narcissistic mother, and then at 15 I met this guy who we later married. So um, the going cold and not speaking to you and um, blaming you for something that you did um, is quite like it was something that reoccurred. And let's see, that video I watched today, some things resonated deeply. I'm impressed with your strength. Oh, thank you. Oh, you watched one of my videos or this one? Yeah. Um, so it's 7 months since I started my channel, and it has been um, yeah, 21 years with this guy, and now I am rebuilding. But it was very painful, and yeah, so this kind of abuse has really affected my life, and um, I made the decision to start this channel so that I could use that pain and those experiences to help other people because um, I was in a position where I could talk about these things. So it makes me feel that it had some meaning um, because it was like mental torture for years. Um, and I am healing, but it takes time. So and especially when you start to find some people that you really like. And right now, I have like one friend that I really like and appreciate, and she's quite a new friend, and we're also colleagues. So, um, and because of our work, we are working like we have like our rooms. Yeah, the rooms where we work are like next door to each other, so we see each other a lot. But and she gets stressed out, and sometimes she's a bit colder because she's stressed. Then every time that happens, I get like the first thought in my mind is, "Oh no, what have I done?" But I haven't done anything. It's just that she's having a stressful day. But like healing is not only um, cognitively, understanding that, oh, this is what it meant, and it's not like she's probably not a toxic person, and this will not happen. She won't suddenly go cold and not speak to me and tell me how uh, dumb I was to do, like I did something that um, was dumb or hurt her or accuse me of something. That probably won't happen. But even though I understand that, my brain doesn't understand that. So a lot of our behavior and like our emotions are like subconscious in the brain. So and um, like when the brain recognizes a pattern, like, oh no, someone is changing tone, they are withdrawing, then it by itself makes the connection to danger alert. So probably like probably this will dim in time, but um, yes. At the start of this year, I didn't know what a narcissist was. Now I see it in many people. Yes, it makes me more afraid. Yes, that's like usually when you start to learn about this, you see it everywhere. But it doesn't make mean that all the people that display some behavior are narcissists. I think that we live in a like it's a difference between having some narcissistic traits, like you're egocentric or um, you don't empathize that much, or you are like a bit calculating or exploitative. Um, so that's like a large group of people, and then like the pure narcissist, like the ones who would actually meet the criterion for the disorder, that's a bit less. But yes, it's a lot, and we live also. I think it's like it is rising in the world. Yeah, yours was malignant as well. Yeah, I'm sorry you have to go through that. So uh, yeah, the malignant ones are usually very callous and um, that's like both the narcissistic personality with the psychopathic or antisocial traits. And like it's weird to like it's weird that these people are walking around among us and that like I didn't know about it before like 2017 I realized that my husband was probably narcissistic. But even when I realized that, I didn't understand it fully. But it's horrible that, and it's becoming so much more common. Um, so we live in a culture where these like the world is shifting a bit. Before you usually lived like when I read a lot, and when I read like books from the early 20th century, like people did not move from their hometown. Like they usually lived in one town their whole life. It wasn't common that you moved. But now people move around a lot, and um, like you usually like changing a town or starting to hang out with another group of people. That's common, and you can interact with a lot of people like online. So it's easier to behave like this. Uh, and also, like society is, um, what can you say? It's encouraging these traits a bit because, well, the capitalistic system, when everything comes down to like the bottom line, how much money does the company make. Um, in this system, it's um, like if you're callous and trample on people, you might make a very good CEO. Although, like, not all of these um, personality disorder people can actually even hold down a job. Um, but in the old days, like the culture and the fact that people didn't move made it so that if you behave like this, you like the community would punish you. Um, like if you used people and lied and like eventually this happens to the narcissistic people today as well. Uh, like their partner or their friends find out and um, they stop talking to them, but then they find another group that was much harder in the old days. Um, and also like the work, the same with the work, like you couldn't really move around. You had your profession and you had to um, like it was more noted, I think, if you did quality work or if you cheated. Yeah, I think that's what I think about why it's so common now. Perhaps there are other factors as well. But it's a good thing that we're getting aware of, like we're becoming aware of it, and more people are learning about it. And I know that, or I've heard it said that, well, everyone calls everyone else a narcissist now. And yeah, it's probably like a word that is getting used a lot. It's a word that is getting integrated into our language because you need a word to describe a behavior. Like um, before, we would perhaps, like my grandfather would say, um, my grandfather had did this research into our family history, and he was using the old church records. So um, he did like he was able to track the family back to the what would that be like 70th 17th century. Um, so it's a lot of ancestors. Um, but I think it was like my grandfather's grandfather or something like that. Uh, like not too many generations ago. So, like my grandfather had heard about this man when he was a child, but he showed me some um, like what he had written about this guy and some photos and um, so he was married to a woman and they had like 8 children or something. And he was very mean and he abused her and beat her and he drank alcohol. And uh, so when we were looking into that story, my grandfather just said, well, he was a mean SOB. And that's what we called them back before people called them narcissists, I think. Yeah. So I think that even though it's a lonely road uh, to leave toxicity and to build a new life, it's doable. It just takes time. And um, when we're able to connect and support each other, it makes it easier and it helps in the loneliness. Like that's really a great thing about internet, I think. So internet can be used for bad and it can be used for good, but this is a good thing. that survivors are able to connect and support each other, and that we are able to use these words to describe what we've been through and to understand each other and to educate ourselves, because that's the point, really. We're not trying to diagnose anyone. Um, and finding real friends, finding people who we connect with in real life, I think that's also very doable. But the important thing is to not go too fast, like with friendships and when that time comes, even in romantic relationships, because toxic people, they usually move fast. Like that's one of their tools. That's what's called the love bomb, when they like they want to be intense and it feels very good. They do a lot of things and compliment you, and the point of that is to make you invest, to make you make that decision that, oh, they're safe, they're a good person, and to invest in the relationship quickly. Um, but moving forward, um, slower, will give you more time to evaluate the situation. And the same with friendships. Like you shouldn't, well, at least be a bit careful with trusting people with your sensitive information in the beginning, so that you get to know them a bit slower. Um, but I think that there is like not, even though there is a lot of toxicity in the world, there is also a lot like the healthy people are in majority. So we feel that, well, everyone has been affected by these narcissists, um, and that's probably because the toxic people don't have any, like they don't have these barriers that we have when we want to connect. So um, when we feel lonely and well, I haven't healed yet, and I'm not sure, like, will they be safe if I connect with them? They don't have those hesitations. See, I think I learned to trust my gut, and I felt something was off. Or yeah, you mean with the malignant ex? So did you leave him when you felt that, or did you stay? Yes, it's a really good thing when we learn to trust our guts. Um, for me, it's feeling. Yeah, it was a classmate. Yeah, that's a good thing that you felt it. That means that your radar is working. For me, it is like I can also feel when I'm in the presence of a toxic person. It's easier to spot them when they are overtly narcissistic, when they are like putting people down in the meeting room. Let's see. We were never together, but this person scared me shitless. Never been so scared in my life. Oh, okay. Yeah, they can be very scary. Like they are, some of them are very disturbed. Um, so, and that's like I thought these things only happened in movies. Um, like but what happened to me is like like it's worse than any film I've seen. And it's not only me, like it's so many people who have uh, yeah, met these people. It's horrible. It's horrible that they're out there and that they are like it's so common. Uh, yeah, but the overt, like those who are overtly toxic, when they show it, like they are confident and cocky, and they are, um, yeah, bullying people, and then you can see it more clearly. But when there is a toxic person that try to move close to you and they put on the charm, then um, it can be quite hard to catch it, like um, to recognize that they are toxic. But for me, it's like this feeling that well, I'm quite good at tuning into others and like sensing um, how they feel, or but when I'm close to a toxic person, it's sort of like that tuning in a bit, it gets hijacked. So I start to think like a lot about so trying to please them automatically, and I tune out of myself. So um, it's like a weird thing, but I will feel that, and then I will know that yeah, this isn't a good connection. Like I will be consumed by them if I stay too close. Um, but yeah, it's such an amazing thing when you are able to find friends or people who are healthy and who are able to love and who are interested in connecting and starting to build something real. Um, so that's what I'm hoping for in my own future. Like I really enjoy, like I like people, and um, but well, of course, when you are like in the middle of your life, it's a bit harder to get friends compared with like when you were younger. But I think that um, well, I have this friend who is really good at getting new friends, and she says that her secret is just to see who needs a friend. So um, she tries to interact with people who also need a friend and who are feeling a bit lonely. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else to say about this topic, the loneliness? It was quite nice to just be here and drink some tea. Um, and for me, I think starting this channel, like having something that you do that feels it's loneliness is not a destination, it's a stop. Yeah, you mean that it's just a stop on the way to something better. Yeah, okay. Just a couple of years ago, you were more lonely. Now we have friends. That's good. Yes, that's how I view it as well. So it's like a phase after. Um, it's like you make a U-turn in life. Like I was on the wrong path. Um, I had all these toxic connections, and um, when you have the toxic toxic husband and the toxic family members, there's not much room for anything other than that. So have to cut with that and make a U-turn. But the turning part is quite lonely. Um, yeah, that's a good thing that you also experienced that. Um, that it was just to stop the loneliness part. Um, do you have some tips for? Because I know that there are other survivors who are like really struggling with loneliness and being afraid to connect. I have shared a bit about my tips and like starting this channel. Like this is my hobby right now, so it feels meaningful, and it's like if you have something meaningful to do, um, it makes me feel less lonely to have something. Let's see. I think you're lonely because you hide and restrict what you show people. Ah, you mean that people get lonely because they hide parts of themselves? Yes. And it's also scary to show people like the vulnerable parts of you, especially when you're used to um, like showing vulnerability means uh, opening up for attack, for being attacked. So I used to, um, or I used to have this barrier where I didn't want to invite people if I didn't have my home clean. And then I didn't have the energy to clean it. Like it would be messy in parts of it. So I thought that, well, I need to be like, I need to have everything in order. But now I've gotten over that. So it makes it easier to, like, if you're able to invite people and not care so much if um, not everything is magazine perfect. Like, actually, it's really messy. But if you're able to get over that, it's easier to uh, have people over. But I think that's the way it is with a lot of things. So when you're not able to uh, show the real self, your real self, then um, you won't be able to connect, like have a real connection, um, or it won't be as deep. So that will also make you lonely. But I think people are like they like when others are able to show their vulnerable sides or um, share something true about themselves. I think people are drawn to that. But what happens with the toxic person is that they, like those vulnerable parts, are used as weapon to hurt you and or to get mad at you because you haven't even cleaned the dishes. What have you been doing all day? So I used to have, like, especially with my ex-husband, I would have like my home would be perfect order because I thought that, well, if I like if there is nothing, if there is no mess, then there will be nothing for him to complain about. So it's like a defense mechanism when you have everything in order. Yeah. So I'm wondering about. Well, now that you're here, I think it's only you and me, Neely. But I think I will make another live in a few days, and people don't not yet know that I'm going live. So, but I think it's um, good when there's just a few, and I have can train um, myself to do it, and yeah, also get the technique to work in the beginning. But if you have, because I'm thinking that I will close it soon. But if you have like a question or idea for email me. Yes, you can. So if you go to my yes, like I have an email, and you will find it on my channel, like in the about uh, page. So yes, you can email me, and I have invited like people to email me, not only you. So um, it's okay to email me and ask me some questions. Or so my purpose with the channel is I'm trying to create a place for survivors to get together and where healing should be free. So that's my dream. But I'm only one person, so but so far it's been no problem for me to like have the time to answer everyone. So yes, you can email me if you have some some ideas for topic. Um, okay, so I think this could be the end of the live stream. And I would love it if you join me for the next one. I haven't yet decided on a specific day, but uh, yeah, I'm working on it. I will try it out, perhaps a spontaneous live stream again in next week. Yeah. Okay. Bye. Bye.